Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode. Talking about it allows you to cure yourself. It allows you to process through it. And then from there, so this topic today is when what you want doesn't look like what you have. And what sometimes, beautiful people, we go through life and so many things happen to us that we don't know that. Good morning, good morning, beautiful people, and happy Thursday to you. I'm so glad. I know sometimes I come on here and I'm amped. And let me just tell you why. I am always now honored to just be in the land of the living. And given everything that we're dealing with, we have the whole pandemic, we got all of this going on. And even prior to the pandemic, I just encourage you all each day that you get another day, because I see it as another chance. I see it as a second chance. Um, I am grateful. So I like to start my day just by being grateful. So happy Thursday, beautiful people. So, welcome to another episode of So Say Me Laconia's tips, takeaways, and hashtags. Um, and so hopefully the messages that I give, they're designed to inspire you. They're designed to motivate you and actually push you or propel you into purposeful action so that you can live out a meaningful existence. And so today I want to talk to you about, encourage you rather, sorry. I want to encourage you about how to keep going when it's rough, right? How to keep going. So whether it's relationally, whether it's business or health or finances or whatever you are building, whatever you are hoping for, whatever you are aspiring to, how to keep going. And I talk to entrepreneurs who got brilliant business ideas, right? And most of you do. You have, I like to think of it as your money, your means is inside of you. Think of yourself as a tree and the seed that grows the tree that produces the shade and all the benefit or the fruit. It's inside of you. When you were created, I believe God put the seed inside of you, and your experiences, your education, your exposure, your trials, your hard times, your good times, it cultivates. If you allow it properly, it'll cultivate and allow that seed to germinate and grow, and it produces the tree. So I say all that to say, um, I am an entrepreneur. I am an author, and I have a couple other different means of creativity that's inside of me. And people ask, how do I know to keep going? How do I know, should I just stop? Especially when it looks bad. So I'll give you some real live examples because that's all that I have to offer you. So I had this idea to write a book. Actually, there are several books, like most of you. You got some books inside of you. If not one, there are probably many. So I had an idea to write a book, and the book is out. You can check it out. It's called I'm Not That Deep. But anyway, because I have all of these sayings or these quotes and just different things and how I live my life, people will say, well, you seem so, you're always happy, or, things that have happened to you, it doesn't seem to get you down or keep you down. And I personally believe that no one leaves planet Earth without your share of tribulation or trials. No one gets off of planet Earth. It comes with planet Earth. We have oxygen, we have water, we have fire or heat, and we have trials, right? We have hard times. We also have joy, we also have peace, we also have laughter, we also have hope, we also have love. It comes with planet Earth. So bringing that back to, I had this idea to write the book, I had this idea to start a business, I had this idea to do a whole bunch of stuff. And things I started and I was excited, right? You know that part where you are whoop whoop, you're hype and you are motivated and you moving. And so I remember being hyped. I remember sitting down at my computer, getting my fingers ready. All the ideas were flowing. I took it from the journal and brought it over to the computer and I got my type on. I'm ready. I'm like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this book done. And then life happened. I got busy being busy. Life happened. And so I put the book down. And I tell you, a year passed. And I was like, oh, yeah, I could have had a VA. I could have finished it. And so I started kicking myself. Why didn't you finish it? You should have done it. Maybe I wasn't supposed to do it. But the desire didn't go away. Beautiful people, when the desire don't go away, listen to that. Listen, that's your truth. That's God talking to you saying, "Psst, you're on the right page. Pay attention to the seed, cultivate the seed." So for me, the writing, the desire to get a message out, it didn't go away. So year two, I picked it up, started again. Well, y'all tracking with me already? We're here. So you know what happened? Life happened again. And what I mean by life happening, because life doesn't ever pause, it just means that the responsibilities that I had, it overwhelmed me. I didn't have the emotional, mental bandwidth or capacity to manage them both. And that's okay. And here's another point. Your first tip. It's okay to pause in your race and in your journey, but it's not okay to stop. Pausing is taking a step back, regrouping, refocusing, handling some things, some other pressing priorities with the intent and with the intentionality of continuing. And so although I didn't, let's say, publish it that first year, I continue to water it. I continue to add content. Although I didn't put it in the book format, I stashed it somewhere. So be it a journal or just a post-it note. I'm writing stuff down, right? So continue. Pausing is just slowing the rhythm. It's just slowing the rhythm, but not getting off the track. So that's tip number one. It is okay to pause when you are on your journey. Eventually, time passed, I was able to make some connections through a friend who connected me with a publisher, and I verbalized my vision for this book. And the publisher was able to understand it, able to capture that in in its depiction of it, and I was able to get the book launched. I was able to get the book published, and it actually made bestseller. Yay! Um, and I moved on. And so when people ask me, how was I able to push through? Because it wasn't an easy process. So let me just say this, it's not an easy process. I had to go through the revision. I had to go through the self-doubt. I had to go through the time management. I had to go through feedback and critique. But what kept me going, beautiful people, is what I want to offer you today. When what you want is greater than what you have, move. Keep moving. See, the vision that I have for myself, and it is still yet unfolding, is to leave my legacy in writing. That's one of the ways I plan to leave it. And so putting out this first book, right, was a part of that. And what, although obstacles kept coming to tell me this is the wrong time, to tell me it's not good enough, to tell me it's not like someone else's book, all of those comparisons, all of that negative narrative that was going on inside of me, you have to be able to silence that. And if you don't have words to silence that, here's tip number two. Think about what you want. Think about where you are going and allow that to have you to move. Allow that to silence where you are. When what you want is greater than what you have, you move. So I'll give you another example. Some of you heard me, if you follow me on this channel, I'll tell the story again because I'm going to revisit it. I went skydiving for the first time. Ooh, ooh, and that was an amazing experience. And if you haven't tried it and you have the health capacity and the tenacity to do so, I encourage you to have that experience. But here's this, it was a game changer for me. So I went skydiving, minding my business just to have fun. It was on a bucket list, so to speak. And they had me weigh it. They weigh everyone. You have to stand on the scale because they need to harness you correctly. They need to assign a tandem, the person who's attached to you to jump, and all of that is calibrated through weight. That weight is a consideration. Anyway, I called it COVID nonetheless. I got on the scale and I was over. You see this reaction? Because it's a trip. For me, I was over there was a fee. If you are in excess of a certain weight, then you have to pay an additional fee. I had to pay the fee. And that was the first time that or another time that hit me that, wow, I had lost track of just kind of managing my own health and wellness in terms of weight, because now I'm having to pay for it. And that was in November. And I tell you, so November, it hit me. And I thought, I know I need to drop a few pounds. I know I need to get a little better. But I tried in December. Well, no, truth is, I decided I'm gonna let the holidays do what the holidays do. And so January, New Year's, I'm ready, I'm ready. I decided, let's get it, let's go for it in January, right? I was sunk by February. I think I was motivated and inspired. Motivated is the key. I'm gonna come back to that. Was motivated for a full 30 days, if that. I'm sure I fell off in between that because motivation is that surge of emotion based on a fleeting thought, but it's not sustainable. Motivation is not sustainable. It's that surge of emotion, positive emotion based on a fleeting thought. And I had a fleeting thought that, ooh, I can drop this excess weight. I'll be back at whatever my healthy weight is, and I'll never have to pay that fee again, right? So I was motivated. So tip number two, takeaway number two, it's wonderful to be motivated, beautiful people, but it's not enough to sustain you. It is not enough to sustain you. You can go to a church service and get motivated and walk out, and those doors will serve as erasers, or you'll have another conversation or another situation you engage in, and that motivation is gone. So, motivation is that surge of positive emotion based on a fleeting thought. And the fleeting thought is, I can live a better life. The fleeting thought is, I can be debt free. The fleeting thought is, I can start this business. The fleeting thought for me is, I can publish this book. The fleeting thought was, I can lose this excess weight, right? I was motivated. You'll be motivated too, but it's not enough to sustain you. So by February or January, I was out. I was out. It was forget it. Not only did I not stop, um, not only did I not continue with working out or whatever I was going to do to get rid of the excess weight, I feel like I just went in reverse and just continued to eat and do less, and I gained some more weight. And and each person, you go through your own process. And then I was thinking about, what do I want? Seriously, what do I want? And I realized that it wasn't that I didn't want to be fat, my version of fat. I came to terms that I wanted to be fit, right? When what you want is greater than what you have, you move. Because I realized at my current weight, I was actually fine. Like, to let me tell it, I look fine in my clothes. I had no health challenges that were compelling me to say, "Hey, you got to lose this excess weight." 'Cause my truth was, I was fine. But my narrative inside of me changed to say, what would it look like? What would my life look like if I were fit? Hadn't thought of that. Most people think about losing weight. I'm talking about losing weight specifically. You think, I don't want to be fat or I don't want to be overweight. That was my narrative. And I thought the truth is, I'm not going by that BMI, whatever that is. It's not my thing. I'm fine in my clothes. I'm not uncomfortable and I don't have any health challenges. So the narrative about, oh, you need to get healthy didn't appeal to me because I wasn't unhealthy medically. Period. Not on any pills, potions, or lotions. And yet I was carrying excess weight. So when I change my narrative, when what you want is greater than what you have, you move. When I changed my narrative that said I wanted to be fit, then I was able to figure out, what's the next strategy for me? What do I need to do? What are my next steps? And I started getting a vision in my head about what it would look like for me to be fit. Hmm. I could see it every day. I could see, ooh, I like that. I like the opportunity that being fit it will afford me. I like the idea of, you know what, I can take that hike that I've been interested in without my lungs exploding, feeling like it's going to explode inside of my chest. I can finish a half marathon in a certain timeline without them needing to come and pick me up on a stretcher or me not even doing it at all. I can go rock climbing and have the stamina inside of my body and the core strength to be able to hold me up and do that. You see it? All of these are ideas that's inside of me or interests that's inside of me that I thought, oh, I do want that for me. And so when what you want is greater than what you have, you move. And from that time when I started, when I finally had that inside revelation for myself, I've lost, beautiful people, 30 pounds. Like I started a process, and what I'm doing to do that is hard. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not concerned with the challenge of it. What I'm wrapped up in is the reality that I'm creating for myself on the other side. So I encourage you, tip number two, when what you want is greater than what you have, move. Your brain will absolutely solve the problem. Your brain will absolutely go push you to go through that next door. It will inspire you to do the next push up. It will inspire you to write the next chapter. It will inspire you to make that next sales call. It would inspire you to try another ingredient, try the recipe again. Does that make sense? Well, first you got to get a vision for what you want. Tip number three, daydream. I'm a fan of daydreaming. Most often, you don't know when you should push, pull, pivot. You heard me talk about that before. Push, pull, pivot, because you don't really have a clear picture of what you want. So you get caught up in motivation. And there's nothing wrong with being motivated. But again, that's that surge of positive emotion based on a fleeting thought. You don't have a vision for what you want for yourself. Do you have a vision for your business? Do you have a vision for your marriage? Do you have a vision for your family? Do you have a vision for your health? Do you have a vision for your money? Do you have a vision for your home? Do you have a vision for your vehicle? Do you have a vision for your community? Do you have a vision for your society? Do you have a vision for your spiritual life? You don't know what you want, so you have no idea what steps to take. And the reason why people can't stay motivated is because that fleeting thought it triggers that surge of positive emotion, but you're looking at someone else's vision. And your strategy won't get you to their end. Your strategy has to be designed to get you to your end. And you don't know which way to go. And you don't know what to do and what not to do until you get a vision. See, when I was writing my book called I'm Not That Deep, it's a compilation of some of the quotes that I come up with. So say me. I knew that I wanted to capture them. And the reason I did nothing with it before is because I didn't have a vision. And then once I got the vision and how I wanted to capture it, or that one of the ways I wanted to capture it, I moved. I was able to move through life's obstacles. I was able to keep going, although I needed to pause. It's nothing wrong with the pause. Pauses are purposeful. Take your purposeful pause. Sometimes you need to catch your breath. Sometimes you need to regroup. Sometimes you need to ground. Sometimes you need to be inspired. Sometimes you need to prioritize everything, different things. It's okay. Let the pause be purposeful, but never lose sight of the vision of what you want. So I wanted to be fit, which is different than not being fat. I saw it for myself the opportunities to do some of the activities that I already mentioned. It for me, it was never about vanity. See, for some people, it's about vanity. Do you float your boat, make it work the way it works? But all I am saying is find that internal seed inside of you and grow your tree, cultivate your tree. Because when what you want is greater than what you have, you move. And so for me, the tree is the activity because of the experiences, because of the memories that it creates, which are meaningful to me. For someone else, it might be something else. But you have to first get in touch with what you want. And one of the ways that I did that is to daydream. What would I do? What would I enjoy doing? Oh my goodness, if I were fit, more fit. Oh wow, I can handle rowing to be able to go canoeing because I'm not going to wind as easy. I'll have capacity in my lungs. I'll have strength in my arms. I'll be able to rock climb, which requires an immense amount of core strength. Oh, I'll be able to do that successfully and complete it. I'll be able to skydive and not have to pay the extra fee. Does that make sense? I'll be writing the first book when what I want is greater than what I have. It's my books will be out there. That's just book number one. I literally have titled over a dozen of books. But how do I get to being a best-selling author? How do I eventually end up on New York Times best-selling author? How do I do that? You got to start. You got to have the vision for what you want. And it has to be greater than what you have. Because if in fact I stop now, like I was telling you, let's say with being fit, for me, what I have is I can fit my clothes. I'm good in my skin. I have no medical challenges. Then I've already arrived. For me, hey, I published one book. It did okay. If that's all that I want, I've already arrived. For entrepreneurship, I run a business and we're still in business. The employees and the clientele and the customers we service, their needs are met, then I have arrived. Really? That's not my story. I still daydream. There's so much more on the horizon, not just for me, but for you. When what you want, it has to be greater than what you have. I encourage you, I implore you, I motivate you and challenge you. Move. Move into the vision of what you see. And that's okay. So, for some people who are new to this experience of really living your best life, of really having all that you want, of really not settling, of betting on yourself, of never hearing the concept that the seed for the tree, the tree you see is the seed in me, right? Y'all getting some good nuggets that I'm giving you. The tree you see is the seed inside of me. And so for some of you who have never yet, not yet, um, tapped into your seed, understanding what is your seed, how do you find it, and that question comes up, what is my purpose? I don't know what my purpose is. I'm trying to find my purpose. Dear God, what is my purpose? Daydream. Daydream. So I give homework. I used to teach high school back in the day. Yeah. And I would give homework and I would tell them the homework is for you. It's to reinforce what I'm sharing with you. And if you don't do the homework, I'll know it because you're going to fail the test. If you don't do the homework of daydreaming, you're going to know it because you're going to fail the test. How do you know you failed the test? Because you will live your life accidentally. You will end up in places. You will end up with people. You will end up with things that add no value to you. You be like, how did I end up here? You didn't do your homework. What was your homework? To daydream. Why, teacher, are you telling me to daydream? So you can tap into and recognize and discover your seed. Because once you understand what that seed is, then you can cultivate it and it's going to grow your tree. It's the vision that you have for your life. And if you don't have one, it's okay. Go back and daydream, right? Because when what you want is greater than what you have, you move. By the way, here's another tip. You won't always know the details. They come in the process of your movement. They come in the process once you get on the journey. For me, I didn't know where the publisher would come from. I had never published before. I didn't know what that would look like. I just kept moving. I want to be an author. I am an author. Let me at least empty out this first book. I moved. And in that process, having the conversation with someone else had another conversation with someone else, the publisher came. But they didn't come um, at the beginning. They met me on my journey. That book is published. Same thing. Hey, I want to be fit. I don't know anything about fitness and exercises. I don't have any equipment. I'm not a gym person. I don't own a gym membership. My goodness, and I don't own a measuring cup to be measuring and counting calories and carbs and all of that. Don't want that kind of life. Don't want it. I just had a vision for what I would be, what it would look like if I were fit. I didn't have all the details. I started moving. And in my journey, guess what? I found that I can get out and walk. Isn't that something? I'm trying to tell you, beautiful people, all you got to do is get a vision for what you want. Be fully persuaded that what you want is greater than what you have, and then move. Move in the direction of what you see. Move in the direction of the vision for your life, and know that that is your seed being cultivated. Tip number 3, you don't have to have all the answers to begin. You have to have a willingness to begin. You have to have a wanting to get to the other side of what you see for yourself. Don't wait for all the answers. Sometimes the answers come midstream or even at the end, but you'll never meet the answers until you begin to move. Does that make sense? So, beautiful people, your homework assignment, daydream. That's where you find the seed. And for those of you who already have the seed, meaning you have the vision, your homework assignment is daydream some more. Expand on it, water it, get into the energy and the essence of what you want. Oh my goodness, I can't wait until I go hiking. I own no hiking boots. I ain't got no hiking boots. I don't even know where to go hiking, but I am going to go hiking. Why? Because it's what I see and that's what I want. And it's certainly greater than what I have. It works every time, all the time, for everyone who works it. We fantasize or we love the life of celebrities. They did what I'm telling you to do. No one broke it down for you. What I'm telling you, here's what happens. Tap into your seed. It's the tree that you see. The tree that you see, athletes who are dominating their industry. They are everything in their industry. It's the seed inside of them. You're looking at the tree. You didn't see them watering and cultivating that seed by getting fit, by doing the layups, by practicing even when practice was over. That's cultivating the seed. The fashion designer, they were cultivating that seed by sketching designs long before you ever saw it on the runway, or long before you ever saw their creations at your department stores or wherever you buy your clothing. I'm telling you, God left a seed inside of every single pure person. It is your job to discover it, because the trees that you see is the seed. It's the seed, and you too have a seed. So your homework assignment is to daydream, to discover your seed, rediscover your seed, or cultivate your seed. And then after you daydream and you identify your seed, I want you to write it out. That's the vision. That's what you want. It can be a material thing, a spiritual thing, a financial thing, a business thing, a health thing. It doesn't really matter. A relationship thing. It doesn't really matter. And then I want you to desire it. That's want. That's want. Desire it. Because when what you want is greater than what you have, you move. Does that make sense? Your hashtag today. So says me, when what you want is greater than what you have, you move. Beautiful people, I'm Laconya. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye. Talking about it allows you to cure yourself. It allows you to process through it. And then from there, from